The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. For the first time in our PTR TV channel history, we head to Circuit Zolder, the other famous track, as we very simply call it here in Belgium, a track that hosts many famous races, including some DTM racing, will finally host us here on the channel, and tonight with the Red Sox Racing League. We'll be hosting the GT3 cars in their fall GT3 series number 4, race number 5 right here from the alternate configuration here at Circuit Zolder. Gonna be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth doing the solo show, doing the production and the commentary here tonight for, again, race number 5 in our 6-race mini-series that we are well known for here in this series. Qualifying underway here with a few minutes left to go. And not much of a surprise to anybody, we do have Mr. Mitch Heller leading the points. Well, that too, but he's leading the standings here today by about a tenth of a second over Sheldon Rosenbaum here. So Sheldon ran a faster time in the latter end here of the session because Mitch had about a 3/4 car length lead, a tenth of a second lead prior, and clearly has eradicated some of that. So we'll see if that number 87 has a piece here to play with at Zolder. Last week we did have the race at VIR that my colleague Bradley was able to join me on, and that was quite the show. Ross Booth made a cameo appearance. Haven't seen him in recent weeks, but he made a cameo appearance and put on the grandstand finish there with Mr. Mitch Heller, and he did get the upper hand by about a second over Mitch. So Mitch trying to get that redemption here, getting his 3rd win of the season. When it comes to the point standings, I haven't really referenced it too much here, because at least from the top of the standings perspective, not too much to discuss. Mitch Heller up in the point standings right now by 27. Again, there is a drop week that can be applied. So that is, I'm assuming, without that drop week, but either way, he is up by 27, and then we have David Barry, Les Turner, and Todd Marin-Pietri rounding up the top 5 with about 45 points separating all of those drivers. Looks like we got a grid of about 19, maybe 20 drivers here. We always have Brian Irby in the session, but sometimes he is not actually here. You can see on the bottom of the ticker his name is registered, so he is in the session. We'll see if he turns some laps. You can see right here we're following Mark Kedrowski, and I think he was headed through turn number 7 there. There's a little chicane that leads into the kind of a double apex right-hander in the style of Lesmo's at Monza. Now you head into a sharp hairpin that is turn number 8. Just with the corner names here and the language that I am not fluent in, I am going to spare all of us here and not use any of the names here. We're just going to go strictly by corner numbers here at the 10-turn layout. You can see here on the track map, this is essentially the variance that makes this the alternate layout. I'll see if I can get a camera angle of that. Can't promise it, can't make any promises, but I'll see if I could find, yes, right here. So traditionally we would have a chicane of sorts there and go around, but we have this very thin little alternate road here that lets them kind of zoom on through. You can see a bunch of guys heading straight into the pit lane there, but rather than making that chicane, we are going to surpass it there. Kind of similar to how Monza does it. Here you can see a driver taking that lane right there. Very thin lane, kind of similar to running the Monza track layout. Without the chicanes, it is a little, you know, as I like to say, sketch, but you have to kind of force it through there on that narrow pass. Here comes Todd Pietri there. You can see the countdown timer is on right now, so anybody on a live lap will still be able to finish it. Looks like we got maybe Kadrowski and Berry on live laps right now. Here is David Berry. Right-hand corner here, trying to figure out where he is. Again, this is not a track I am super familiar with. I think that was the yeah, he was exiting that turn number 8 complex there, and there he goes onto the pick straight. This is actually, I had to purchase this track. I've been an iRacing member since day one, and this is actually a track that has managed to bypass me in my entire what are we on, 16-year iRacing tenure. So turn a couple laps here earlier, and we're studying the track layout. We're going to be Zolder masters here. That's our goal here by the end of the broadcast. And of course, iRacing just recently, in the most recent build, has modernized the aesthetics here, as you're kind of looking here from the top-down cam and maybe even the scenic cams as they pan around. This track was one of the oldest tracks in the simulator graphically, and they enhanced it with all new visuals and new graphics technology. We got the 3D grass, we got a lot more animations, higher quality textures and trees, making this place look a lot better, although it is still the scan data from 2010. So in terms of a driving layout, these drivers will be right at home. They'll just have to get used to the new aesthetics. But with that being said, I want to thank everyone for tuning in here to PTR TV. If it's first time, don't make it your last. Hit the like and subscribe button. We are ever so close to 1,400 subscribers. I think at the time of this recording, we were about 9 more from that. So if we could just get there with a little bit of help from you, that would be highly appreciated. But that countdown timer heading down to 0. Let's go down track side and give you the starting lineup here today from Circuit Zolder alternate layout. Starting today's race off from the front row is going to be none other than Mr. Mark Kadrowski. That lap came out of nowhere when I was off rambling. A 24.28 to Mitch Heller's 24.39. That throws a wrench here potentially into tonight's race. In third, we got Sheldon Rosenbaum with Dave Hill going to roll off in the 4th spot. 5th is David Fernandez with 6th place, finding Mr. Andrew Humphrey. 7th on the evening will be David Berry, with 8th being legal admin Les Turner. 9th we have Shane Hunter, and then Todd Pietri, just referenced him, going to be right in number 10. Dennis Griffin in 11th with Kevin Kyle in the 12th position. 13th will be Gerald Livingston with Jim Graziano, the New York native, in that 14th spot. 15th we have Dwayne McCarthy, and then Dale Green in the 16th position, with 17th finding Bill Pollucky with Nathan Lafayette to his outside. Rounding out our grid, we have James Prostel Jr. and Brian Irby is registered, but I don't think he's actually going to grid. I don't know if he has connectivity issues, if he just joins because he doesn't know if he has the time and wants to be in early. Don't quite know, but again, he is not here for tonight's efforts. As we are rolling here, I believe, actually, I'm not going to lie, I don't know where we are on circuit. I think we're in about turn number 7 right now. That is the chicane with the double right apex. So yeah, we're in turn number 7 now, about halfway through our lap. Then we will exit that, have a little bit of a sweeping straightaway with a little kink in it into turn number 8, the sharpest corner here on circuit. Not quite a 180-degree corner, but a very sharp hairpin. This should be a very good passing opportunity, getting hard on the binders. Our weather conditions here today, I believe they're the default weather. Actually, it's a little bit cooler here than usual. 68 air temp, 71 track temp, 7:30 virtual time. So It should stay light out, but the sun will start going down, maybe have a little bit of glare in these guys' eyes at race conclusion. But coming through the little sweeper here, that puts us right onto the pit straight, and Barney the flagman will get us underway. Red Sox Racing League round number 5 from Zolder is green, green, green. Let's head off into turn number 1. 90-degree left-hand corner starts us off here. Very sweeping corner, not too sharp, but you will have to get a heavy bit of braking underway, and that's Sheldon Rosenbaum. Spun off into the grass here right on the opening lap. Let's try to see what happened to Mr. Sheldon here. I don't know if it was just cold tires or what. Take a look at the black and blue car, third in line. Yeah, cold tires on the throttle, and that thing just looped around on him. Very unfortunate way to start today's race off. But we'll switch our ticker here. You can see an estimated 22 laps here on the evening. Kadrowski is still having the upper hand over Mitch Heller. We'll see if he can sustain this. And is that lap a fluke, or did he figure something out here? We know how difficult it can be with dirty air to make passes. This track does have a lot of sweeping corners, which will cause that aero wake to come into play here. You can see Dave Hill in third in his Mustang, and he is holding pretty tight with these guys as well. He was not overly confident. I believe we spoke to him last week, said he would need a little bit of a brush up here, but after lap number 1, he is staying into the thick of it here. Coming through that final chicane, doesn't appear that Mustang is as agile as he'd like it to be, as big and beefy as it is. That Porsche Ferrari seem a little bit more nimble. They may find those switchbacks a little bit easier, but I'm sure he'll have his advantages other places here on circuit. Position number 4. Andrew Humphrey and David Fernandez there, separated by just a little bit, going back a little ways, and you can see these guys are hot on each other's tail. Kevin Kyle and Dwayne McCarthy just outside of our top 10. Scrolling a little bit further back, you can see Graziano, Lafayette, Pollocky, and Prostel. And again, Brian Irby not here into today's grid, but the snake of drivers is certainly prevalent here at Zolder. I'll pull up our track map on your screen. You can kind of get a little representation of where everybody is on circuit right now. Coming up to the top of turn number 7 are our race leaders right now, and then down the straightaway into the sharp turn number 8, and Mitch Heller starting to get a little bit of an advantage, getting a little bit of a run, hard on the binders, gains a little bit of time exiting 8. Now he'll set himself up for the straightaway into the little kink here. This is not going to be a passing opportunity, and traditionally it would be on the GP layout here with that chicane. That would be another outbreaking opportunity, but with the alternate layout, you kind of lose that opportunity exiting 8. Gives you more speed, maybe if anything makes turn 1 a better passing zone here as we're taking another lap. And you can see Dave Hill starting to drop off. Looks like we are just going to have a duo battling for tonight's win. Certainly not helping his case there. Dave Hill getting into the kitty litter on corner exit, so just as if he was going to have any chance, that any chance is now eradicated here. As I just saw up front, I'm not sure if Mitch Heller made a mistake, but that lead very, very quickly went from half a second to all the way 1.5 seconds in the matter of about a single corner there. So a lot of breathing room for that number 944. So he can maybe back it down maybe 1%, not have to go full bore. Has a little bit of room to play with here. Speaking of, well, not speaking of room to play with, because there's not too much. Gerald Livingston looks like he just gave up a few spots there to Graziano and Green. You saw him going very, very slowly in that number 67 McLaren, but he backs off. Now here comes Dale Green, a little bit of a run down the back chute into the, I don't want to call it a chicane, but kind of the switchback S-curve there. But McCarthy will lead that train. Going a little bit further back, here comes Sheldon back on his comeback tour. He made a dive underneath Paul Lucky there, back into the 16th spot. He is now 18 seconds off of our race lead. So how much of that he can gain, how high can he get on the pylon? I think he realistically might be able to get up to 10. Any higher than that will take probably some serious help from the form of another driver. A lot of guys kicking up dust there, and that's something to watch out for. Again, I don't know how picky the off-track system is here at Zolder, but iRacing, of course, gives you the 1X, and I think for every 6 incidents you get within the league, you do get a more strict points penalty, and of course 17th incidents will get you the boot from the race course, things you want to watch out for. Keeping an eye on the lead as we watch the other battles here on circuit, and it does appear that Kedrowski is losing a little bit of his lead, so I do feel like Mitch Heller may have just made a mistake on one lap, and that took him out. I am getting some indications here that Kevin Kyle had an issue. See, he got loose there and spun right in front of McCarthy, and there goes his rear wing off into the world there. That came off, and he's exiting the pits with his fast repair. So Kevin Kyle will be shotgun here on the grid. Leaders here, top of the hill, turn number 7. Down, exiting that, now into... No, now they're in turn number 7. There is 2 chicanes here, so I do have to remind myself of that. The Klein chicane here. You can see a bunch of drivers in that second pack. Gotta watch out for those turtles there. There's the Klein chicane. And then the second chicane is the turn number 7 one. And then that leads us kind of turn 6A, I guess, if you want to call it. Then this is turn number 7, even though it's kind of a double. Again, this is very akin to Lesmo's at Monza, kind of a double apex there. Leads you into the sweeper. But our leader has already taken another lap here as we close in on 10 minutes into today's race. Currently about 8 minutes in, and Kedrowski has led every single lap, and lead has ebbs and flows between roughly a second, 0.8 of a second, 1.2, so kind of ebbs and flowing by about 0.4 of a second. Just they all seem to have their ideal places on circuit where they're making some headway. Speaking of headway, here comes Sheldon Rosenbaum. Looks like he just got by Graziano. That puts him into 13th. I just called that a little bit ago. I thought maybe he'd get up to 10th. 10 seconds, 10th place would be about a 5-second gain from where he presently is. So if he can do more than that, that just really shows the pace, and everybody just does not care about the dirt there in that section of the corner, exiting turn number 4. Everybody is just going full into the board. I think you can see the boat there off in the distance. It's kind of cool. Exiting turn number 5. Heading up the hill again. iRacing did a great job here. You can kind of see all those wind farms and spitting in the background. I could have swore I just saw a boat because there is a river here off in the distance. There is some waterways, and I almost swore I saw a boat. Maybe I'll find it again, as the little things do make me happy. Going back up front, I just talked about the lead ebb and flowing between 0.8 and about 1.2. Well, now Mitch has eradicated that to sub-half second here, and even less than that as through turn number 1. Kedrowski a little bit conservative, and now he's going to do the long sweeping turn 2, which does lead into turn number 3, a little bit of a shoot, and then that puts you into turn number 4, long sweeper. And now we will get a little bit of speed built up into the Klein chicane, which is turn number 5. Again, you can see all those turtles there, and gotta watch out. Don't want to hop them, because if you hop the turtles, you will lose some time, lose a little bit of car control. And now we'll do the sweeper into another chicane, and Heller hot on his tail. He is there, just waiting for a mistake, waiting for an opportunity. Going through turn number 7. Maybe a little bit of slipstream opportunity down this sweeping straightaway. hard on the binders. Heller does seem to be better on the brakes for the chicane, and Heller got a better hairpin there as Kedrowski missed the apex, but Kedrowski actually got the better run off, and now they'll lead into the sweeper, and we'll finish another lap off. And look at Kedrowski, he gained 0.2 of a second. He seems to have the guts, or maybe the Porsche has the performance there through that sweeper, because he gained roughly 0.2 of a second through it. I don't know if it's guts, I don't know if it's car, or maybe a little bit of A, a little bit of B, but it seems like that Porsche is running better in the faster portions of the track, and then I'll give the McLaren the upper edge in the technical sections of the track. So I guess that's kind of an interesting ebb and flow, as Dale Green is the next on the chopping block if you are a Sheldon Rosenbaum fan. And just in front of that is Dwayne McCarthy in 11th. So I think at the current pace he's going here, let's switch over to lap times on our ticker very briefly. Sheldon at a 25.2, and he's a half second faster than the guy in front, 0.4 faster than the guy in front of him, a half second faster, and oh my goodness! Dale, who was that? Dale Green was pretending we were doing rallycross there through that chicane. Let's go through the instant replay right now. Watch that number 250 go a-soaring. Yeah, those turtles, he done made those turtles mad there, and hopefully there's no underbody damage. I mean, as an S-Car fan, just watching a race a few weeks ago, the underbody ended up ruining Kyle Larson's day, even though the overbody seemed fine. So, not sure how you can see the diffuser there on the back of that Corvette. Hopefully, I don't know how iRacing models that damage-wise, but hopefully the car still handles good after scraping the bottom and, essentially almost launching into outer space there. Well, there you go. With Mitch Heller kicking up some dust, Luke Bryan style here, heading into the Klein chicane, and he closes on in, but this is where Kedrowski gets the upper edge. Kedrowski's getting those better exits, but let's just stay on board here, entering turn number 8, and just look at all that time gain through the chicane. Heller doing a fabulous job, but now as they're getting onto the power, now we're going to head, I believe, we're going to head through turn number 8 right here. Again, hard on the binders. He gains the time through the little switch back there. And now this is where, let's see if Heller loses the same amount of time. If Kedrowski gets through it as well as he has been, 0.6 of a second, exits it. Well, that time by, they drew even. So obviously Heller got a little bit of confidence, figured something out. Because Kedrowski was pulling him by about 0.2 of a second each time. Not so much through that sequence here. Big wiggle on the power from Heller there. Exiting turn number 2. Didn't really cost him too much, but makes you wonder if he's over pushing there and putting that car in a precarious spot. But either way, still works out for Kedrowski, and they are literally creating a groove there in the dirt. But there comes Dennis Griffin into the pits along with Dwayne McCarthy. That'll be the first set of pit stops here at Zolder here tonight, as we are very much approaching the halfway point in tonight's race. Just going a little bit further back, we may have a battle for the third spot here, back end of the podium. Andrew Humphrey has made some serious headway to the rear bumper of Dave Hill. I think they are coming into turn number 8. Hard chicane, hard hairpin there, and then he will have to kind of mind his P's and Q's. He'll stay on board here for the little sweeper, just as a perspective of how difficult this little kink is. It's not flat, so you really have to push yourself there to take that as efficiently as possible. And Humphrey actually going to lose a spot, perhaps, to David Fernandez here, as the grandstand blocks our blimp cam. But Fernandez puts himself into the 4th spot here, so he is doing a fabulous job in that Porsche 09 car. And maybe he can put himself onto his, what I believe would be his first Red Sox podium, if I'm not mistaken, if he can surpass Dave Hill there. Again, just look at, they are putting a ton of sand on circuit, so I'm assuming that iRacing is very lenient there through that sector of the track with the off tracks, because I'm assuming if it wasn't lenient, then they wouldn't be doing that. So whatever you got to do to get speed, if it's within the rules, if it's not going to get you in trouble, you know, you got to push for every 10th of a second that is on the table. But awaiting our pit stops from our race leaders as we are 11 laps into our estimated 22 here on the night. Coming through the final sequence, coming through the sweeper. Pit road would be dead straight, but we are going to go and complete yet another lap, and again that lead now stabilizing around 6 to 7 tenths of a second. Heller was kind of gaining to 2 or 3 tenths at some points, but I do have to wonder if the aero is starting to affect him. You know, once you get to that 2-3 car length gap, again at a track with this many high-speed corners, the aero wash off that 944 is certainly not going to make anything easier for that 303 of Mitch Heller trying to get the downforce he needs to keep that speed where he wants it there. And I feel like that must be a struggle. And as you can see on the ticker as well, folks, they have pulled away 12 seconds on the rest of the field. So absolutely killer pace these leaders are running, averaging about a second a lap faster than the rest of the field. And again, just kudos to Mark Kedrowski. Remember, he did win Indianapolis au naturel. There was no hoopla, no strategy call to it. He beat Mitch Heller on pure pace at Indianapolis for race 1 of this current series that we're in. But ever since then, he just hasn't had that secret sauce. Mitch Heller has just been an utter domination. Of course, last week he got beat by Ross Booth. Ross Booth, you know, just even being a driver of even a higher echelon, but Mitch gave it everything he had, and you know he's beat him in a few times head-on-head. But at VIR, they put on a whale of a battle, had some off tracks, had a spin, and Mark Kedrowski goes into the grass there, incidentally, exiting turn number 3. That pulls Heller right to the back bumper and into that dirt once more. Doesn't seem to bother him whatsoever. Now Kedrowski's going to have to play the defensive line into the Klein chicane here. He's going to get through it. And now the next sequence of corners will be turn number 7 here, the Villeneuve chicane. Leading into turn number 7 here. It looks like Kedrowski has managed to collect himself here and gain a little bit of a gap back up to about a half second. Heller getting a little bit of slippage there. Again, could be the dirty air. Turn number 8, Heller again with the big dive on the brakes, but can he get the run on exit? Doesn't appears he did a decent enough job here. What happens through the switchback here? 0.4 of a second. Does it go one way or another, or does it stay the same? Looks like it about breaks even there. So Heller again getting better through. If anything, got a little bit of a slipstream, and that will eat into that gap by just a little bit. Let's see if Kedrowski can keep it on circuit here. This right-hander turn number 2. He just got a little bit too wide there. Was lucky to keep control of the car and not go skating off into the gravel. That was some good luck and good driving skills by him. Worth noting, Les Turner in the Batmobile McLaren. He is coming to the attention of his crew. So he will be about the 4th driver to make a pit stop here on the evening, as again these leaders are just putting on quite the show here today, heading up 6 into 7. It's just, I feel like Mitch Heller is going to have a huge mistake from Kedrowski, or he's going to have to make a big dive into 8. I mean, those, in my opinion, are just the best places to pass, is turn number 8, because that is the sharpest corner, and that's where we are right now. that's where you want to make your pass ideally, and you want to clear because you don't want to be going side by side through the switchback and into the sweeper here. Let's see if we have anyone going into the pits. Kedrowski goes into the pits. He's going to go through the straightaway here. You have a little bit of a corner sequence. Hard on the brakes. He went for it there. I will say Mark Kedrowski left nothing on the table here. You can see how difficult it is here. You even have to get around a Jersey barrier there. Very narrow entry there. You can see all of the what look like the consumer gas pumps there as they head into their actual stalls. I believe another one behind. Here comes David Fernandez coming to the attention of his pit crew. But he certainly left nothing on the table, did Kedrowski. That's going to force Mitch Heller to do the same. He is going to have a very aggressive pit entry. He's going to have also a very competitive lap here. He has clean real estate. He needs to get everything he can get with this clean air and hope that the ebbs and flows work out in his favor where he ends out in the lead. It is worth noting that Mark Kedrowski's lap pit time was 8.9 seconds. So we'll see when Heller pits, how much fuel does he take and where does he blend out? Does he blend out with the lead? Does he blend out with a significant gap? I think we're going to find out this time by on that back chute. No, he is going to stay on circuit for one more lap. I think he is just trying to throw the absolute heaters here, trying to throw the best laps he can. And I'll tell you, he just about ran a race PB right there. His PB for the race, I'll pull it up on the screen on the graphic. His PB is a 39, and he ran basically a 6, so he almost ran his best lap, and now he's into the kitty litter. Going for too much, Mitch Heller. That's probably going to be what Mark Kedrowski's going to need. Let's go, and this is the same corner, turn number 3. Same corner that got Kedrowski. See, he got loose on the entrance, just tried giving it a little bit too much and had to drive through the kitty litter here. Here comes Todd Marin-Pietri into the pits, and Marin-Pietri has some damage to that car. So he's obviously had something go astray. Kedrowski is on circuit, and he is in third as we're still waiting for Lafayette and Prostel Jr. to pit. Everybody else, David Berry, and of course waiting for Mitch Heller to complete the pit sequence here. And we'll see how much that off-track excursion hurt. And maybe he still has a chance. I mean, if he ran a faster lap and lost 2 or 3 seconds going off track, maybe there's a chance. Here he comes into the pits. We saw how aggressive Kedrowski was into the pits. And Heller seems to go in pretty aggressively as well. Here comes Mark Kedrowski. He's exiting turn number 7, now into 8. He is 24 seconds behind our race leader, and you can see that gap is eradicating rather quickly. David Berry coming into the pits in the Scooby-Doo ride, and that will finish the sequence. Here comes Mark Kedrowski, Mitch Heller finally hitting his box. And it looks as though Kedrowski is going to have quite the lead here. I do believe he's coming into the first corner. Heller is still in the pit exit road, and he spins it out trying to exit the pits too hot. That certainly is going to be it, and he is going to tow it to the pits, and that's basically going to be all that Mark Kedrowski needed. You can see here, we'll go from the top down cam. He saw that he needed to go, and he went for it a little bit too hard there, because let's get it from Mark Kedrowski's perspective. Yeah, that's kind of hard to tell where they were on circuit together, but because the pit lane is so far off circuit here. But yeah, Mitch Heller did tow it to the pits because obviously he was blocking a very narrow pit road and didn't want to be a hindrance to anybody else here on circuit. But that gives Kedrowski basically the opportunity just to chill and ride, and it's going to be his race. He can back it down quite heavily here. There is a good battle here. Les Turner in the 5th spot David Berry in 6th, and then Sheldon Rosenbaum. I said he was only going to get a top 10. Well, he showed me up here because he's in 7th with a realistic opportunity to get back into the top 5, obviously with the facilitation of Mitch Heller there. And you know, I always hate to say Mitch Heller making self-induced mistakes. He has cleaned them up amazingly, but you know, he was under fire, and you know, I just got to be bluntly honest. Mitch Heller's had it pretty easy as of late the past few weeks. Obviously VIR a little bit different, but there was a good 3-week stretch where he just didn't have any competition at all, and today he was battling from behind. He was having to be the aggressor, and when you're having to be the aggressor, I think that's a lot harder. It's a lot harder to be the aggressor than it is to be the defensor, because when you're playing defense, a lot of times you can just run your race and force them to get by you. But you know, that's what Mark Kadrowski's been doing. Here goes Sheldon into the dirt as well. But Mark was running his race, and he was forcing Kadrowski to do something. We did see Mark slip a wheel once or twice. I mean, he was not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But, you know, he kept it on circuit. He was rather consistent. He's had some serious speed, and barring a catastrophe, he'll get himself into the pit, into victory lane here today. Who is that on circuit just ahead? I think that's Dennis Griffin. Yes, it is. Dennis Griffin likely to go 1 lap in arrears here, unless Mark Kadrowski wants to play rather nice, as we'll come and take what should be 3 laps to go here at Zolder. Very quickly, just because we have about 2 or 3 minutes of kind of spaced out time here, let's just kind of run through the field super quickly, just get everybody on camera. Kadrowski up front, David Hill in 2nd, Andrew Humphrey, slick ride there with the metallic in 3rd. We got David Fernandez in 4th, Les Turner, another top 5 here thus far, David Berry in 6th, Sheldon Rosenbaum on his comeback tour in 7th, Shane Hunter in 8th, Todd Pietri in 9th, Dale Green in 10th. We got Jim Graziano in 11th, Dwayne McCarthy in the 12th spot, Gerald Livingston in 13th, Nathan Lafayette in 14th, James Prostel in 15th, Bill Paul Lucky in 16th, 17th finds Dennis Griffin, Mitch Heller. He is going to finish this race out in sportsman style. He's going to be in 18th, and then shotgun on the field in the pits after that incident earlier is none other than Kevin Kyle. So here we come through turn number 8 for, I don't want to say the penultimate time, because I think we're going to get as close to what's called a bonus lap as possible here. We're going to hit the stripe with about, I don't know, 2 minutes and 15 seconds or so. Just about right on cue, so it's about 1.5 minutes around here. So we'll probably cross the stripe with about 30 seconds remaining. So we'll have about a 32-minute race here at Zolder. So Kadrowski, if I'm not mistaken, yes, he did start on the pole tonight, and it's going to be as close to a perfect race as realistically possible, because the only laps he did not lead were via the pit cycle. So the battle's going on track here. Looks like Prostel and Lafayette, they are in very close proximity. May have been a little battle going on for the 15th, 14th positions here on circuit, but staying, minding their P's and Q's for now. You know, Sheldon Rosenbaum wants to try to pick these guys off and get into that 5th spot, because as a racer, you know, a top 5 just has a lot of meaning compared to a top 10. You know, it's just an upper echelon level of statistic. So if you can get a top 5, you certainly want to push your envelope and try to get that. But I just don't think he's going to have enough there to equal here. Les Turner doing a great job trying to hold on to that indeed top 5. Lafayette does look like he succumbed to spot to Prostel. So moved James Prostel into the 14th spot. Pretty decent run for himself. But we're coming through the final chicane for the penultimate time here. Now Barney will wave that white flag. I don't know where he is here, but because I don't see a flag man, but wherever it is, they are waving that white flag. So Mark Kadrowski just has a few more miles of racing to go here on the 10-turn layout here at Circuit Zolder Alternate. He has done everything right here today, and He pushed Mitch Heller to his limit and even beyond it here, and just has a few more corners to negotiate. There goes Sheldon Rosenbaum going into the dirt, gets by David Berry. I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of incident points here in today's race. That moves Rosenbaum up into 6th. I don't know if he's going to have enough time to get to Les Turner, but here we come, I believe, heading into the the Villeneuve chicane, now into turn number 7, and that puts us to the back end of the lap. Looks like Dennis Griffin's going to get off easy there and not go a lap in arrears, but heading off into turn number 10 turn number 8 rather, as the sunset comes beyond this raceway, and then we'll head down into the final chicane here and put ourselves here into the pass. Coming in down the final chicane, it'll be race number 2 on the season that is victorious for Mr. Mark Kedrowski with the phenomenal run here at Circuit Zolder. Congratulations to him for outdoing the beast of Mitch Heller. Here comes Sheldon. He is right to the rear deck lid of Les Turner, but just with the scope of this final little sweeper, he's not going to be able to do it. Turner will hold on for the top 5. Sheldon will have to succumb to the 6th spot here. David Berry there. Actually, David Berry got... No, there it goes. It switched back. I was going to say I didn't see him get that, but yeah, Sheldon gets the 6th, Berry gets the 7th. So again, congratulations go to Mr. Mark Kedrowski, and of course I say it every week, but just for anybody who's watching for the first time, they have to make it back to the pit road under their own power, under the cool down lap. If they don't make it back, they lose points, because you can't just fuel it enough to park it in the next corner. You have to put enough fuel in it to make it back to the cool down lap in a realistic manner. So that's what they're doing right now. And again, Mark Kedrowski won at Indianapolis, and he's going to win here in round number 5 here on the Series 4 campaign for the Red Sox Racing League. And then we will have one more race here in our spring, or rather our fall GT3 series next week, heading to Twin Ring Motegi. But as he has finally made it to the pits, let's go ahead and give you the final rundown of results here today from Circuit Zolder alternate layout version. Getting that win, going to be Mark Kedrowski. Congratulations go to him, with Dave Hill second, Andrew Humphrey in third, David Fernandez here in fourth, with Sheldon Rosenbaum in fifth, David Berry in sixth, Shane Hunter in seventh, Marin Pietri Graziano and Dale Green rounding out our top 10. 11th finds Dwayne McCarthy. 12th is Gerald Livingston. James Prostel in 13th. Nathan Lafayette in 14th. Bill Paul Lucky in 15th. Les Turner, I don't know what happened to him, because he was just 5th, but now he's scored in 16th, so not sure what that's all about. Dennis Griffin, Mitch Heller, and Kevin Kyle rounding out the grid, and Brian Irby did not take time here this evening, but we do have our third place driver here on the evening. Andrew, you got a copy? All right, Andrew Humphrey, Corey up the stairs. You got me, bud?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, a solid run here for you in that 69 car, sneaking out a podium here today. You were kind of a little bit far back from Dave Hill, but you were kind of in your own little bubble there. How was that for the 69's perspective tonight?
Yeah, I think I got a little bit of luck there, but, I was trying to pace Dave because I know he's consistent, he's fast, and I figured that if I could hang with him, turn out pretty good at the end, but made a couple of little mistakes, fell back, and then was able to make up some ground during the pit stops and just ride it out.
Yeah, I know this track, of course, got its kind of its makeover, if you want to call it that, the last build, but it's not a track that you see too often here on the surface. What was your comfort level here, and is this a track that you typically enjoy coming to?
Well, it's actually my first time here, just a little bit of practice. I enjoyed it. It's kind of a technical track and not very forgiving in a couple of places, as I found out early in the chicane. Other than that, I really enjoy it.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I just bought the track about a half hour before this race, so that makes about 2 of us here enjoying this place for the first time. Well, we end up our season, it looks like Twin Ring Motegi for our last of this fall series campaign. So what's your confidence level in another solid run there next week?
Well, I'm hoping it goes as good as it did here. I have very little experience there either, so maybe that'll turn out in my favor.
Yeah, maybe that's your secret sauce, man. If you don't know the track, maybe it's your secret sauce. But congrats on a podium here today, and we'll see what you can do next week.
Yeah, appreciate it, Corey. Have a good night.
You too, man. All right, and now I have our race winner here today. You succumbed the battle of Mitch Heller. You forced him into 2 mistakes. He was feeling it here today. Mark, you had the pace. How are you feeling tonight?
Oh my God, sweaty, so sweaty. I was working it so hard. I mean, Mitch was right on my tail, and either I don't know. It's like. I expected him to pass me, and when he just was hanging back, it's like, I needed to survive. And then, after the race, he's like, yeah, I was chasing you, you were going really hard, and I just couldn't catch you. But and then he was, in a panic so much that he spun going out of the pits, and that locked it up for me. So I just fuel saved and took it easy for the rest of the race. But it was exciting, really exciting.
Yeah, it was hard to tell here how you guys would have blended out because that's the way that the pit road ends here. But he was going for broke, obviously, as you found out, spun out. But I'll tell you, you were 2-3 tenths off in qualifying, and I was kind of thinking to myself, all right, it's another bit show, here we go. But then all of a sudden, I'm not paying attention, and you went straight to the top of the board there. Did you kind of find something there at the end of Q, or did you just put it all together for that one lap?
Oh man, I pulled something out of my butt. It's just like, I was so surprised, and it's just like I just put it all together, just perfectly. That was a surprise to me as well as you and everybody else. But then it's like I just maintain that. It's just don't panic, and it's always harder being the chase instead of chasing. So it's like you constantly looking in mirrors like that. So it was I tried not to do that and just drove the best race I could, and it paid off.
Well, you did a fabulous job. Put it in victory circle, and we'll see what you can do next week to wrap up the season at Motegi.
Nice, thank you. Thank you so much.
No problem, man. And last but certainly not least is Dave Hill, who gets another solid second place here. Now, you had a little facilitation behind that, but either way, you take what you can get. A nice smooth run, a nice solid finish. Man, what was it like from the 13 perspective tonight?
It was still fun, but a little frustrating. After the first couple laps, I missed the curb and got to slow down, and then I hit the curb and was airborne, and seemed every lap that I'd gain back up a tiny bit, I'd lose a lot more, and I was trying to stay away from Andrew because every time I made a mistake, he was catching me, and then I'd had to try to get back ahead, and went on like that for a long time, and the whole time Mitch and Mark got away pretty good, and actually, I didn't even know that I was bumped up into second. I didn't realize that I guess Mitch had an incident or something, so I'll take it. But I kept waiting for the pit cycle to cycle out and him be in front of me again, and it kept saying second. I was like, oh, okay, I don't know what happened.
He was going so full rich to try to get to Mark. He ended up binning himself, exiting the pits, ironically enough. So now I wonder here, because of this track kind of being a little bit more on the narrow end and those chicanes being very narrow, the sweeper at the end being really tough, do you think this big boy Mustang just maybe isn't as nimble as you would have needed it to for those quick switchbacks?
I'm not too sure. maybe consistently, maybe it's just me. Every once in a while, I'll get through really well. I'll be like, oh, okay, I guess I'm getting the hang of it. And then the next 10 laps are screwed up. So I think it's just me, a little more practice. But yeah, it does take a little bit to throw the car around, to throw the Mustang around. And I was definitely wearing the tires out. It was getting a little slippery after the pit stop.
Well, it'll be a good segue into next week because I know Motegi is a lot of chicanes, a lot of flat, heavy braking zone, so probably can carry a little bit over. So we'll see what you can do next week, man, at Twin Ring.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, Corey.
All right, see you later. All right, so that'll wrap things up here from another fabulous race here at Circuit Zolder for a track that I had just purchased a little bit before this broadcast myself. Say I quite enjoyed what we saw here, and maybe I'll take myself out here for a few laps and maybe do an AI race, because certainly I'm not going to be testing it here with the guys online. But again, if it's your first time, don't make it your last. Hit that like and subscribe button, trying to get that 1,400 subscribers. And if you could help us out, if you could be number 14, well, that'll just make me all well and giddy. Stay tuned for our next broadcast. I think we'll be live next, I think it'll be sometime next week. I think we'll be live. We have a little bit of a off week to end the last few days of this coming week if you're watching this live. So stay tuned. We'll be back here with some more content very soon. That's going to be Corey signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.